Hi. So in the previous chapter you have learned about a basic concept of data type. Okay. So now let's discuss the data type very briefly. Okay. So now here I will tell you about Python numeric data type. Data type. Okay. Look, there are basically three numeric types in Python. The first one is int. Okay. Then float and then complex. Okay, variable of numeric types are created when you assign a value to them. Like just suppose here I am taking x is equal to 1, so it is assigned, 1 is assigned to x. Okay, what we have seen in the previous couple of videos. Y, just suppose, so we have assigned it to, let's say, 2.5. It is a float value. Okay, and third value is a z. Let me take a complex value, 1j. It is a complex value. So how to get the type of it? You have seen in the previous chapters. Type, print and then type. What? X. Let me copy it. Copy and then paste and then paste. Here, let me change it to y, to z. If I'll run this, then you can see the first x is integer, y is float, and then z is a complex value, right? If you'll talk about the integer, then integer can be represented as a whole number also, a positive number also, a negative number also, without decimal, with decimal, or it can be of unlimited length. Okay, like just suppose int type, like x can be 1 also, y can be let's say this a random number of character. I can take anything. Okay, it can be negative also, -4 5 something. Okay, and if you will see the type of it, let me copy this, copy and then paste. And if I'll run this, then you can see these all are integer. Okay, so you can use all the data types in integer. If we'll talk about the float, the same thing will happen. float, float. Okay, float, or you can say a floating point number, is basically a number of positive, negative, or it can also contain one or more decimals. Okay, like just suppose x is equal to 1.10, y can be 1.0. okay, it is a float value, and z can be minus, let's say, 25.36 something. You can take any value. Okay, and if I'll print this, then it will show me the float, because these all types are floats. Okay, and the same thing will happen to the complex number also, right? You can do the same thing. Even you can use wait, let me tell you one more thing about float. I forgot actually. You can also use a scientific number with an e exponential to indicate the power of 10. Let me tell you what I am saying. Just suppose here I am writing a is equal to like 1 to capital E and 4. Okay, so what is this? Let me type print. I don't know whether it will print or not, because I just forgot the scientific number. So I think it will it should have run type and then a. If I'll run this, yes, look, it is saying it is float. This is a float because This is a scientific number with an E which is indicating the power of 10. Okay, this you can you have seen, I think you must be seen this in class 9, 10th, 11th, 12th or high school. Okay, so it is very common actually. So now let's discuss about the complex. Okay, look, the complex number are written with the J, okay, as the imaginary part. You don't know about J, you can write A, B, C, D, nothing, but anything you can write, but J is a common itinerary used for a complex number, which is we all are using it as an imaginary part. Okay, so for the same complex, just suppose let me take 3 plus 5j, okay, or y is equal to 5j, or let me take z is equal to negative number 5j, anything you can use. And if I'll print the same thing, you can see it is saying complex, so that we know these all are a complex data type. Okay, so hope you understood these all, this integer, okay, then float, and then complex. Okay, even you can type the conversion also. Yes, it is possible. Type conversion, you can convert the data from one type to another with the help of integer function, with the help of float, and with the help of complex method. Okay, so what I mean to say is, just suppose here I'll take x is equal to 1, so I know it is an integer. Okay, so let's write int, and let's take a float point also, y is equal to 2.8, and I know this is a float. And let's take one more thing like complex, so 1j, this is complex. Okay, so just suppose I want to convert the integer to float, like convert integer int to float. What I'll have to do, I'll have to take a variable a, okay, and then is equal to float, and what is int? Integer is 1. Okay, so it is assigned in x value, so here I will change x. Now what I'm saying here is, let's change x, which is by default integer, I'm changing it to float value. The same thing I can do with the complex or integer also. Let's take b is equal to int and y. Here I am changing the y is by default a float, I am changing it to integer. Okay, so let me write it, convert from float to int. Okay, and now I can also convert the integer to complex, convert int to complex. What I'll have to do, just take a different variable and then use complex complex and then x. Okay, and just suppose if you will print a, print b, and print c, so what will happen? It will show us the same thing. Okay, so just run 1.0. 1 was that time the integer, I have converted it to float, so float is 1.0. okay, and then 1j integer, y was the float and it is converted from float to integer, so integer part is 2, it is 2.8 by default previously, and 1j is the complex, so 1j complex to x. I have changed the x value, means integer, to the complex. Okay, so this is the best example what you can see. Okay, so hope you understood the basic part of this thing. One thing you need to understand, that you cannot convert a complex number into another number of type. Okay, like here we are converting float and integer, but we are not converting the complex, because as per the mathematical calculation or the scenario, you cannot convert the complex number into another number type. Okay, you must understand this thing. Okay, and there's one more thing I want you to understand, that there's one part so called random number, random number. I want you to understand this thing, otherwise I will forget. So look, many programming languages, they all have an option of a random. Okay, but in Python does not have a random function, okay, to make a random number. But Python has a built-in module called random, which can be used to make a random number. For the module scenario, you will learn after I think 10, 15 or 20 videos. Okay, but now I want you to understand that there is a term called module. It is a built-in module which can be called and which can use for calling a random variable. Okay, so for this you need to import random. Okay, just let's wait. Let's leave this thing, because I think you will get confused. So don't go through it. I will tell you in the next series, where you will when you will learn the import or this type of thing. Otherwise, now if I will tell you, you will get confused. Okay, so that's now for this section. I will let's move to the next video. Okay, bye bye.